You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show from the Chris Voss Show studios in Chris Voss Landia. Fucking stupid shit I make up in the ramble. Thanks for coming on the show. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly appreciate you guys being here, because without you, we'd just be talking to, our guests, and we'd just be sitting around going, it'd be great if someone else will listen to this. For 16 years, we've been bringing the Chris Voss Show, over 2,200 episodes. If you haven't listened to every damn one of them, go back and listen to them. Actually, don't listen to the early stuff. It's kind of shitty. But you go listen to them for fun anyway. You can see how much we've progressed. As always, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places. Today we have a returning guest. We had him on a few months ago, and he's bringing us the latest breaking news and updates based on fires and insurance in California and Florida and all the crazy stuff that's going on in our environment. The world's just on fire. And that's just from the Taco Bell buffet I had last night. That's a whole different story. Today, we have an amazing young man joining us on the show. We're going to be talking to Robert Feldman. He is a specialist in insurance and fire zone and hard-to-place risks. I should have put my first 7 marriages with him. He's an insurance professional with over 25 years of experience. They all went bad. And he's going to be talking to us about what his company, WOW's Insurance Services that he co-founded, is delivering insurance solutions for homeowners who struggle to secure fire insurance in California, and I think they'll be eventually expanding to other parts of high-risk states. Due to his expertise, Robert has been a sought-after speaker in the California Association of Realtors, educating realtors about how to secure insurance for homes that are deemed uninsurable, which is my shack, my band down by the river that I live in. Feldman serves on numerous task forces, working with senior leadership for many insurance carriers to solve the state's current insurance crises. Welcome to the show. How are you, Robert?
Good. How you doing, sir?
I am doing excellent. Can you insure my van down by the river?
Yeah, well, that depends, man. How cool is the van?
Anything's
insurable, man. Anything's insurable, man. It's just, what's that old story? We can get it. That's the big thing that we always stamp out, man. There's a cost, obviously, but anything's insurable.
It's that A-Team van from the A-Team. Remember the A-Team
Yeah.
TV show?
Okay. Now you're cool, Chris, but you're getting cooler by the moment, man. That's legendary.
The wheels are gone. It's just on bricks, man.
It's okay, man. It works. Hey, man, we'll get tires for that one back.
It rocks when the girlfriends come over. Anyway,
oh man.
Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the internet?
All right. So obviously, thank you again, Robert Feldman, CEO, co-founder of WOW's Insurance. You can easily find us at WOW's, WOWS. Now, everyone forgets the S. WOWS insurance.com. And actually email me, robert@wowsinsurance.com. A lot of good information out. Had a great time with you last time, Chris, and I thank you for so much for having us back.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, it's kind of upstates in the news is obviously everyone's seeing, all the fires are happening currently in Malibu and in Southern California.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we're probably on the backside of it now. I mean, obviously they're still fighting the fires. First and foremost, a shout out to Cal Fire, who has done an incredible job in this fire. I mean, I'm sorry to say there are still homes that went down, but we can flash back to the Woolsey fire that just happened, 5 years ago, basically. And I mean, those were where you had, well over 400 or 500 homes that went down. This time, same size kind of fire, same kind of thing. And as of right now, as of this morning, there were 7.
Oh, wow.
That is a big difference.
That's
so one of the things that we're really, when I work with reinsurers and all the big reinsurance in London and different parts of the world, that's one of the biggest things I really talk about, again, is how incredibly better, I get the same proper way, the great job that Cal Fire has done and gotten better, how the technology is getting better, and the ways we're defensible to help defend homes. Basically,
Yeah. So
it's
give us a
it's a big difference.
30,000 overview of what you guys do there.
We are a wholesale with this classified as a wholesaler or what's called an MGA, Managing General Agency.
Hmm.
We help build and bring insurance programs to the Western United States,
Hmm.
primarily in California, but we'll be expanding soon. We work with Nevada. It's a shout out here for my Nevada guys. I love the Department of Insurance in Nevada. They are absolutely incredible. And we really are working to try to fix the crisis of what's going on right now. I mean, obviously, this Malibu fire is a microcosm of the bigger problem. Fires
Yeah.
happen in the Western
Yeah.
United States, and how are we going to change? I said it in our last podcast, and nothing's changed. The insurance industry has been the definition of Einstein's theory of insanity, Chris.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And we're affecting change, and that's really the big thing.
I've been trying to put all the fires because Smokey the Bear used to talk to me through the TV and said it was only me who could prevent forest fires, but I just don't have enough time, man. It's a
Exactly.
lot of work.
I can say I got a size 12 shoe, but it doesn't work that great to stamp those fires
I
out.
can't be everywhere at once. I
Oh
live with
man.
the guilt. I see a therapist daily.
Uh,
Thanks,
I,
Smokey the Bear, you fucking asshole. Um,
yeah, I tell you a side note, man, Chris, crazy back in the day on that Woolsey fire. That fire blew right through where I live.
oh,
And
did it? Oh,
oh yeah, and I can guarantee I give you away. If you want to really upset a spouse, you can
mm.
do what I did basically, where
Tell her
I followed her.
tell her she looks fat in that outfit.
No, I know better than that. I'm surrounded by girls, Chris. I don't go anywhere near that. I have two daughters that would smack me ruthlessly.
Oh,
No, but what you do is you start to follow them out, and then you turn around and basically fight fires for 3 days.
huh?
That's a great way of upsetting a spouse. But again, these are the things. There's a lot of things that are changing. We're affecting change with the insurance policies. There's a lot of information we're getting out. Your show was incredible last time with us. Your listeners
Yeah.
were great. We cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
We want to make sure we're giving you insurance updates, whether it's on the East Coast, West Coast. Every time there's a major catastrophe, we like
Hmm.
to make sure we continue to be your kind of source for insurance because we're really working with every major decision maker, really in the insurance industry. That's what we do.
Now you referenced a crisis, and I believe isn't that I mean, not only the fire is a crisis, of course, but I think there's a crisis in like a lot of insurers are pulling out of California.
Yes.
States like I believe Texas and Florida are
Yep.
impacted as well. Talk
Yep.
to us about this crisis and how that's affecting consumers there.
Well, really, what's happens, and this is conceptually really the idea of insurance, is the problem that you run into with insurance. If you look up the definition of insurance, it's by definition, it's a diversification of risk.
Mm.
So spread of risk, so that it allows you, an insurance company, to be actuarially sound.
Hmm.
And so the problem is a lot of insurance companies have gotten clustered up in different parts of the United States where they end up with oversaturation of markets.
Oh,
And then when a catastrophe occurs, it knocks them out of the box.
yeah.
So what you're seeing is a little bit more of a spread of risk.
Hmm.
This is one of those, we're all hands on deck. This is going to involve insurance companies, reinsurance companies, and consumers. It's going to require to involve government.
Hmm.
Like in California, they have the California Fair Plan. In Florida, they have Citizens
Hmm.
Insurance for the wind
Hmm.
hail. These are all things that are going to really need to happen, and in combination to make the changes that we're necessary to make sure we can fix things going
Hmm.
forward.
There you go.
Yeah.
California wildfires are growing in frequency and severity. We've seen
Mhm.
this where, climate change is pretty much undeniable at this point. I
Yeah.
mean, California had its first hurricane or something or
Yeah.
like a couple years ago or a year ago, and you're just like, what?
Yep.
California
It's
hurricane? Yeah,
crazy.
that's the whole reason I lived in California is because and not in Florida. Um, and since 2017, 11 million acres have burned, destroying nearly
Yep.
50,000 structures, many of them homes. And then, you can't. My understanding is you can't sell a home or buy a home if you can't cover it by insurance, right? I know Florida's
Exactly.
having that problem massively.
It's crazy. So,
Hmm.
and this is not just happening from a fire standpoint, not just in California, but it's starting to happen in Nevada, and it's
Wow.
happening in Washington and Oregon
Hmm.
and Park City, Utah,
Mm.
and and Aspen, Colorado, and
Wow.
all the things, all the areas that are considered fire zones. So this is as the United States goes, for all our different, there's different sections. There's different things that cause. So, like
Hmm.
for example, the Southeast is going to be wind, hail, and hurricanes, right? You have the
Hmm.
Midwest with tornadoes. You have the West Coast that's now more and more fire.
Yeah.
These are all interesting challenges, but it still, Chris, comes down to the same thing. It's a reorganization or directional change.
Hmm.
We can't, you have insurance companies that are trying to be cookie cutter.
Hmm.
So they're trying to say that they have the same risk in California as they do in Florida. Well, those are completely different risks.
True.
And you really have to think of things differently and be able to involve and really make changes. I mean, God, some of the, one of the great things about us as a society is as I would say, is that when things happen, there's crisis happen, the evolution of how to make things and change. Like
Hmm.
I think I mentioned it last time. There's an incredible shout out. I have no ties to them, Chris, but it's a great shout out. There's a great company called Burn Bot. In California, it's really hard to do control burns, okay,
Hmm.
for fire.
Yeah.
This company created a machine. It looks like almost like a little mini tank.
All right.
It goes over and does a controlled burn, but instead of having smoke come out and let it be out of control, the fire is internal into the side of this tank. And
Oh.
so it puts water to the smoke, which then fertilizes and revitalizes the ground, but at the same
How?
time clearing everything. I mean,
Yeah.
just the concepts of things that are coming out, Chris, are just incredible and are vital to fix the industries. Because to
Hmm.
your point earlier, man, if you don't have insurance, guess what you don't have? You don't have a house. If
Yeah.
you don't have a house, how do you sell a house that can't get insurance?
You can't sell it. Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's the problem they're having a lot in Florida. I don't know about California. I haven't seen anything, but I
Mhm.
imagine the same.
Oh, and Florida is terrible right now.
Yeah. You got a lot of people that have just they can't afford the premiums and they've just given up
Yep.
the insurance, which is
That's the
sad because
saddest.
this is a lot of people's I mean mortgage wealth
Yep.
and appreciation
Yep.
is about the only avenue left to people unless they can get lucky on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Good luck
Well,
with that.
unless they didn't trade. What was that story where the guy traded something like 12 coins or something like that for pizza?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh my
That
goodness, I
was
saw that
nuts.
in the
Yeah,
news. And my business
crazy.
partner Drew Engler just kind of was joking about that, going, "Man, I
Yeah.
wish I would have bought the pizza for the guy."
Dude,
Kind of a
I
thing.
remember I bought Bitcoin below 600 and I think up to 600 I bought it. I sold it like
Mhm.
32,000
Yeah.
and unfortunately I didn't own enough but to really make it any sort of dent. But
Yeah.
I spent it on cocaine and hookers basically. Uh
You sound like Danny DeVito.
yeah.
That's the great. That's
It
the
was just
greatest
one
line. One of the great
hooker
lines.
though. It was like half an
Woo.
eight ball and one hooker. Uh, wasn't enough to buy two. Anyway, that's a joke. People don't write me.
Nope.
But
You're be I watch ding 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 ding
ding
ding. You're
ding.
seeing your emails are blowing up as you speak.
Yeah, the audience knows the callback jokes we always pull on the show.
Yep.
Is he did the hooker joke. Next up is the money jokers. I don't know. It's probably a whole list people are keeping. Which let's see. It's like Chris Voss show bingo over 16 years. Which callback joke will he use today?
Yep.
Bingo. Yeah,
Yep.
there you
And
go.
that, or it could be kind of an interesting drinking game, right? And
Yeah,
there's the little shots thing. Hey, put on the board. If Chris mentions the following things, everyone takes a shot.
I've heard my voice makes people want to drink, so but that's usually my close friends and relatives.
I was gonna say
Uh,
I do that too. I swear usually I get thrown out, Chris, because my having a deep voice, my voice echoes through walls. So
oh, it
no one's
does,
ever
huh?
heard me be quiet.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem I have with hookers and blow in hotel rooms in Vegas. Never mind. I just had to set that up because it's right there. So you guys are trying to really innovate the
Yep.
industry. You're trying to bring innovative products to both
Mhm.
brokers and homeowners.
Yep.
Tell us how you help brokers, and then tell us how you help homeowners.
Well, for example, in California right now, we're starting to bring in some of the big what's called reinsurance companies. They're the ones
Hmm.
like the Munich Re. Munich Re is one of the largest reinsurance companies in the world, if they're not the largest. They're just
Hmm.
massive. They have a program that's in California, and what we did besides our own WOWS program, we are what's called wholesaling. So we have over 3,000 brokers appointed directly or indirectly through associations, and we're
Hmm.
just bringing these things to market because the market didn't have access to it.
Oh,
So there's a lot of consumers being canceled and not knowing that this is a viable product for them. So
yeah.
that's just one of many. We've launched two or three others, and and we continue to bring more. We actually have one. We kind of smile. We inked the deal, and we're kind of excited because we can almost pre-announce it right now. It's another one of the companies that we are
Mhm.
now wholesaling for. As of tomorrow, we'll get the keys to the car, as they say. We get to take
Ah.
that car out for a ride.
Mhm.
And so we're doing this. So there's two different parts of us. We have a wholesaling that works directly with brokers, and then we have a program that works with brokers and consumers.
Hmm.
So the program is for the larger homes. We're very close to having that one done. That'll be the game changer, Chris. We're
Yeah.
doing some really incredible things. Our WOWs program is going to, for consumers, is going to flip the script. It will
Oh.
be the first policy in the history of California that we can find that will be fully transferable from sellers to buyers.
Oh wow. Well,
So
that
as a
should be amazing.
consumer, oh, it'll just change how it works. We
Uh-huh.
built it on a model that will reduce premium costs over time.
Uh-huh.
These are all things that make sense from an actuarial standpoint for the insurance company, and it's
Mhm.
also great for consumers.
Wow.
So a lot of
This
great things,
It's
really
going to
great
be
things coming.
amazing times coming up here.
Yep,
Amazing times.
we're battling it
Yeah,
out.
it's crazy. You know, we had we had I think it was the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, one of the journalists from one of
Hmm.
the top tier news organizations, and he's been spending the last few years traveling around to smaller cities that were being impacted by climate change. So
Yep,
fires and stuff like that. Only
yep,
smaller locales that they don't have the budgets, they don't have the tax base, they
yep,
don't have the
yep,
support to do it. And many of these places, they're kind of small because everyone's moved away, and it's kind of like places in, I think, Italy and France, where they're trying to sell them now because so many people have moved away and there's so few people there, and they're just like, hey, come here. And so he's been documenting the rise of climate change and its effect on these smaller cities, and
yep,
it's devastating.
yes,
I mean, any sort of loss is devastating. I don't mean to minimize anyone. If you have a luxury home in Cali, it's that's it's a palatial home, and they're expensive as hell. But
yep,
yeah, just seeing he kind of talks about and records the economic effect and the fallout from
yep,
these middle America places that they're doing it, and yeah, I mean it's crazy. And in California, the cost of homes. I just saw something. I have to pull it up, but it showed the two. It showed that household debt and costs are going through the roof. And California,
yep.
interesting, was like only number 4. Utah was like number 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
That I wouldn't have. You could have got me on a bet on that one, right? You could have said which
yeah.
one's higher,
Damn it!
Utah or,
I just
California. I would have
lost
bet
out
you on
on
that one.
$100. Damn it!
Yeah, you did.
Now I'm gonna have to pay for the hookers and blow out of my own pocket. It's a callback joke of the show today, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, and of course that's household debt, so that's everything. But I imagine
Yeah.
it's impactful when I read about people abandoning insurance, home insurance, because they can't afford it. Some of the people that I've read that are abandoning it are like senior citizens people,
Oh, yeah.
and
I see
they
that daily. I
yeah,
almost see that daily.
really,
I'm sorry, Chris. It's terrible because what's happening right now in the insurance market, we're even seeing the admitted carriers that are still in market
mm-hmm.
are taking 40, 50, sometimes 100% rate increases.
Jesus,
And so you have I have one right now, and there are some interesting scenarios because there's a California law that was passed that basically puts a moratorium on cancellations if you're in zip code affected is what they classify
oh
as a
really?
state of emergency. And so I was referred to by a realtor. Again, we're a wholesaler. We generally work with brokers, but we do a little bit of retail, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I do it as a way of almost keeping my finger on the pulse of knowing what's going on in the market. And a consumer was referred to me by a realtor. And I'm very protective of seniors, Chris. I just am. So if I get a little sweet old lady that's been in her house for 40 years, 50 years,
Yeah.
I'm really getting protective. And we had to have a really tough conversation
Mm-hmm.
because it's a conversation about the fact that she's on a fixed income. She has
Mm-hmm.
a house that's worth, millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's what they're in real estate, I guess the realtors would say is, they're house poor, meaning that they have this incredible house, but they don't have the resources really as these rising costs occur to be
Mm-hmm.
able to help maintain it or at the same time, pay for the insurance. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually it forces them out of their houses.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah. I
It's not
mean,
a good one.
and usually those people, they have massive equity and
Yes.
net worth built up in
Yep.
their homes.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I remember reading about a guy in Florida, and they had like, I think they had $700,000 worth of free equity in their home, and
Yeah.
they were paying. I think it was paid off. Like
Yep.
I think some of the times they're
Well,
getting away with it is when the
oh,
home's paid off. But still, if anything happens to that home, it's kind of like having cash under your mattress. If your
yeah.
mattress catches fire,
Yep.
your house burns down, you just lost a lot of
All
cash.
you lost all your money.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well, and in this example, actually, it's funny you say that. Her house is probably somewhere between 3 to 4 million in the Pacific Palisades. It's
Holy crap!
completely paid for,
Wow.
and and her premium's going to go from, probably, as scary as it sounds, 5,000 to 20 or 30,000 annually.
Tell me that's not a month, right? Or
Yeah, it's a year. Yeah, I mean, but for her though, that just jump from a 5,000 to even 10,000 is going to make her shit, potentially knock her out of the box.
wow.
And so then it's like, here she has lived in this house. I mean, it's a really sad story that I hear too often. It's like, spouse has passed away, her children were raised there. They've been in that house 30, 40, 50 years, and now they're having to think about selling their house and moving somewhere else
Wow.
because of it.
That's unfortunate.
Scary. But we're
Yeah.
gonna fix it is the key thing,
Good.
Chris. I mean, we go from
Yeah.
sad to good. We're fixing this and we're leading the charge. And we're really helping. I mean, because the market has gotten so crazy. There's a 400% variance to cost right now for
Really.
insurance. So
Wow.
usually most insurance companies, whether it's admitted or not admitted, Chris, are very, tight. They're really
Mm-hmm.
close. Years ago, I mean, the joke when I used to do, I would do barbecue lunch and learns. That's how I got in with all the realtors, right?
Hmm.
You do like used to come to have a lot of fun doing competition barbecue stuff back in the day, and that's a whole conversation for a different day. All the barbecue things I do. Um, and so what was interesting is, I'd go in there because I would represent a couple of companies, and we're in this, like the joke, 50 cents apart from everybody else.
Uh-huh.
Now we're seeing quotes where someone's at, you could have a quote ranging from 6,000 to 24,000.
Holy crap. That's just
You know,
insane, man.
I mean, and it's just a matter of just how crazy it is, and we're just trying to get the word out because there's a lot of consumers right now that are getting stung. They're being told. One of the things we educate brokers all the time on this is, I mean, stop telling people that the California Fair Plan is the only choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like Citizens the only choice. There are other choices for different markets. We've been
Mm-hmm.
able to successfully bring in carriers on the West Coast to really support and really keep this thing moving, to keep the market alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we continue to do it every day. I mean, I was on every day now, as terrible as it sounds, because London's 8 hours in front of us on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day, usually at around, I go to the gym early, about 5:30, and usually either before or after the gym is the joke. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on with London at this point because they want updates on the fires, but also it's to give different programs.
Mm-hmm.
And as we keep bringing in, that's going to stabilize this market. And
Mm-hmm.
and even down to one of them, Chris, we're helping re-engineer. We have a great company that we're working with that we wholesale that has a maximum coverage of 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they want to write above their 2 million, so I brought an excess company together. We're piecing that together now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're doing a lot of creation is what we're going for, which is what's needed, not just in California, not just in the Western United States, but this kind of concepts
Mm-hmm.
need to happen across the United States.
Yeah. I mean, the insurance companies, it needs to be fixed. So brokers can reach out to you to find out more.
Yep.
And then can homeowners contact you directly as well?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll get them to the right places. We work with brokers, so a lot of times we'll put them with brokers, or every time we'll put them with a broker.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll make sure we almost play. I hate to use the military term. We play Overwatch. So if a
Okay.
consumer reaches out to me, I'm going to want to watch to make sure this is getting done and it's getting done the way it needs to get done, and
Yeah.
they're getting access to markets. And because right now, it just this is why I am so thankful for being here. You have a huge audience, great audience, Chris. And what happens is every time we can get the word out into your show,
Mm-hmm.
and get it out to consumers, that get rid of the myths.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, stop thinking that there's only one choice or you have no choices. There are choices. Everyone has choices.
Mm-hmm.
99.9%. Like in California or the Western United States, if you have an old wood shake roof, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to replace it. If
Wow.
you're in a fire, you're gonna have to replace it. But there's always a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing we're trying to get out the word out.
Most definitely. There's
Yep,
always a choice, people.
always a choice,
There
man.
you go.
Always a choice.
We need as many options as we can get. But
Yep,
today insurance is so expensive, and then you've got car insurance that's also gone through the
yep,
roof.
Yep.
So that pushes pressure on other people, and
Yep.
I'd just like to say here, as always, you can set up to gift your estate and your house in your will to the Chris Voss Show. Make sure you do that as well.
That's great. Yeah, just set it up to go automatically to Chris
Yeah,
right there.
I used to read a lot of Southern Baptist newsletter from churches and stuff. They'd always do that. They'd be like,
Yep.
don't forget to put the church in your will."
Yeah,
So
exactly. Make sure you can leave all of it to us. Don't worry, we'll handle it for you.
there you go. Somebody make an advertisement on the Chris Voss Show for that. So there you go. So you guys are really trying to do it. You guys are out educating. You're out sharing
Yep.
data, trying to let
Yep.
people know there's better options out there. You guys are really
Yep.
trying to innovate and educate the industry. Um, is can people reach out to you from other states yet, other than
It's
California?
funny. We're
Or
always going to help. We're always going to
okay,
help and get people to the right spots.
all right.
So as I
So you
mentioned
can.
earlier, you can go to the Wows at wowsinsurance.com or send me an email personally, Robert at Wows Insurance,
Mhm.
WOWS insurance.com. We're going to help people get to the right places. We work with brokers. We have that are appointed through us that are nationwide brokers, so we can easily get them to brokers to help. So I would say,
Mhm. And
yeah,
then I'm noticing some things in your background on your screen there that you've got the policies transferables from seller to buyer.
yep.
That's probably real important if
Yep,
if
that's
there's.
that WOWS program we were talking
Mhm.
about. So that's really kind of a really great thing. Actuarially sound. You
Yeah.
know, Chris, it drives me crazy. The thing that made me crazy for the 25 years as a broker working with senior leadership of multiple companies is when I would get to an underwriter, I'd go, "Can we do something? This make this change. This should work actuarially." And they would go, "Well, we can't do it." And I go, "Well, why?" And they would go, "Because this is the way we've always done it." And I'd go,
Just
I mean, if you want to send me off the deep end and see me go crazy and get the
yeah.
crazy people in my head going, just tell me it's the way we're doing this because this is the way we always done it.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it
It's
every time.
that's you're right about that in our books about entrepreneurism. Yeah, yeah. Why do we always do that? I don't know. They taught me to do it.
Yeah,
Do it the same way. But yeah, I think climate change and stuff that's impacting our world
it
and
has to make
environment.
changes.
And now if we just get insurance for stupid people, we could have something really going on with our
I,
society.
I I don't know about that one though. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
people out there that agree. I don't know we can insure that. It's the joke.
You know what I need is if I ever get married. That's the joke. That's the reason we do the multiple marriage jokes. I've never been married.
Yeah,
You know what I need is marriage insurance,
yeah. It's called
divorce
it's
insurance.
yeah. No, it's called a prenup, right? You have to have a good attorney do that for you.
I don't know. They figured out a way to break those down, so I
Uh,
need something better.
yeah, exactly.
I've joked about divorce insurance for I don't know a couple decades now, where you should just start paying every month for the divorce. You make a
Yeah.
pay. It's a retainer fee for divorce. Basically, your first month of marriage, you start making a
Exactly.
monthly
Start you just make
payment.
a monthly payment. I'm sure that would go over really big with your spouse at that point. Okay. What's this
Honey,
bill? What's
what
this
are
check going out for this amount for? Oh, it's
our,
for my divorce insurance.
it's for the, it's for the retainer fee. It's
Yeah,
cheaper to prepay them than
pay
post pay them.
pay it. Yeah. Oh, God Almighty, that'd be dangerous.
Well, the average divorce or the average marriage only lasts 7 to 8 years now.
Oh
So
goodness.
yeah,
Well,
and that's
I've
if
been
they can
I've been
find your
very lucky.
body.
Been lucky to be married for 25 years with it, and I
Uh,
have a beautiful
yeah.
wife and great job and two daughters that like to tell me why I'm wrong. So it's a good thing.
That's why I've seen that with the pseudo stepdaughters I've had. They come in the room and they're like, "You gonna wear that tie with this?" And
Yep.
you're like, "You're 3. Shut up and go away." You're 3.
Yep,
Like, how
but
do
the
you
problem
know
is though they probably still have better. They can pick out things
they
better
do?
for them. We
Yeah,
can, yeah. It's just
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's just born to it's in their DNA that they're
Exactly.
fashionable. And
Goodness gracious.
yeah, but I'm a man, and it's in my DNA that I'm unfashionable. So
Exactly. I
thereby
get
we
told
go.
that all the time.
Yeah, I do. I mean, people just hand me money when I usually go to the store, and they're like, "Get some food, man. Get some food. Are you warm? You need some gloves." And I'm like,
That is so great.
you know, I'm
That is so great.
walking around in flip flops and shorts like I do in Las Vegas up here in Utah, where it's freezing fucking cold, and people are like,
See,
do you
you
need a card? You need some cardboard?
yeah, exactly. You'd hang out with my business partner Joel Silver. He's a big guy, 6'6", 300 pounds. He believes there's no such thing as cold weather. He just wears a jacket and shorts.
Yeah. People ask me, they're like, "Aren't you freezing?" And I'm like, "Nah, I was in Nam. I got a plate in my head." They're like, "You were in Nam?" And I'm like, "I stole this from a movie." and
Yep.
they go, you were in Nam? You seem too young. I was in Nam, dude. What the fuck? Like I killed like 20. I killed 20 Vietnamese,
Yep.
and they're like, really? Okay, all right. If you say you're in Nam, you're
Yep.
kind of young. And I was like, I was there last week. Killed 20 Vietnamese. They're still looking for me.
Oh goodness.
So there you go. Anything more we need to talk about that maybe we haven't touched on that you want to tease out on some of
Really,
the
the
breaking
key
news
thing
of
I would
what's going
tease
on?
out is like I mentioned earlier, we're excited for California and some of the Western United States. We're going to be bringing products to be able to write insurance.
Ah,
We're plugging
wow.
holes. We're getting the keys to another insurance company tomorrow. So the
Wow.
great thing
There
about
you go.
for the brokers out there that are listening, the insurance brokers that are listening, you can reach out to us to get appointed. For consumers that need help, we're here to help. We'll get you to the right spots, which is really, again, I hate to use the term Overwatch, sound like a military thing, but really that's what we play a lot of for consumers, just to make
Sounds
sure
kind
they're
of
getting
like
the right spots.
Stalker. It's that police song. I'll be watching
And
you.
you
I remember listening to that for the first time. I'm like, that that's
sounded a bit of
peeping Tom.
stalkerish. Yeah, exactly.
It's peeping Tom outside your window. Hey, what's going on, Sting? Can't get girls or something? You're the lead singer of the band. What the fuck? But it's kind of creepy. So, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
reducing costs.
Yep.
You don't have any
Well, it's in
maximum
coverage.
limits. Yeah,
No
yeah.
maximum limits. So the WOWS program we're launching coming up, there's no maximum limits, so it's going to be able to take care of the hard hit ones. I should say the hardest hit
Mm-hmm.
ones are really the homes that are really over 4 million on rebuild. These are the large
Mm.
homes in California. The carriers have pulled out of that market. There's very few. That's
Wow.
why we stepped in. But what's great about the WOWS program is as we continue to launch, other
Mm-hmm.
ones we represent are already looking at potentially picking up some of the things we offer inside WOWS. So
Oh.
again, we're two different animals. We have
Mm-hmm.
our own program, but the greatest compliment about us doing our WOWS program is that we're accessing other companies to wholesale to bring into brokers to
Mm-hmm.
bring that's the little supply and demand thing. You got to
Mm-hmm.
have supply because there's sure as heck a lot of demand. So we're gonna continue to bring in additional options
Mm-hmm.
besides our program to really help consumers and to help the insurance brokers. We did a trade show a couple months back, and it was amazing how many brokers would approach us and that had zero access. So how do you sell insurance if you to a consumer if you don't have anything other than California Fair Plan?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it was just a crazy, crazy thing. So continue to bring on, and we're going to keep fighting the fight.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this.
Go.
Um, I was reminded of the Maui Red Roof,
Yep.
the Miracle House. It was a
Yep.
100-year-old home, and it survived.
Yep.
And I guess the thing about it was, number one, it had a metal roof, but it also had a special lack of vegetation along the drip line, whatever that means,
Yep.
and I think it had been renovated with the latest,
Siding.
fireproofing, coating,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
whatever,
Yep. Yep.
and so it was designed to survive. I know that some of the new homes that are being built in Florida with that, is that
Yep.
something that's going to help for your insurance and stuff?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If there's in the Western United States, Cal Fire is kind of leading the way on this. What's
Yeah.
called lean, clean, and green. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
can go to calfire.org and
Mm-hmm.
see a whole thing on lean, clean, and green. Being basically, obviously, Chris, I've been in every major fire in California. I have consumers that go down in every major fire.
Mm.
And so this is why we were able to launch WOWs and really be successful with our numbers, our actuarial numbers,
Mm-hmm.
is we can show what houses win and survive and which houses don't.
Wow.
And so what you will see coming up is a lot of the homes have what's called open exposed eaves. That's if you look at the edge of a house
Mm-hmm.
as the roof goes over top or overhangs over the edge of the house,
Mm-hmm.
you'll look underneath. You can see open exposed wood. Those homes burn.
Yeah.
If a fire is anywhere near it, the embers catch underneath those eaves. If it goes under those eaves, that house is gone. Cal
Mm-hmm.
Fire can't stop it. So
Mm.
there's a lot of mitigation that's happening right now,
Mm.
and this is part of why I think Cal Fire is doing such a great job in this fire in the Malibu fire right now. As
Mm.
horrific as it is, 4,000 acres, it's been growing, okay. But there's
Mm-hmm.
still, as of this morning, there were 7 homes burned. I think 8 or 9 damaged. That's versus 400 or 500 homes lost last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's not exactly the same, but
Yeah.
what's happening is consumers are getting better about fire hardening in their house. They're
Hmm.
doing the lean, clean, and green, as you mentioned, getting no vegetation within 5 feet of the house.
Hmm.
Well,
Lean,
think about
green, and
this.
green. Yeah.
Yeah, think about this though for a second. If you think about it, you have open exposed eaves, right?
Hmm.
And then you have vegetation that can catch fire underneath those eaves.
Yeah. Well, you
So when
got
it
to
catches
look
fire,
beautiful.
it goes straight up in the air, right?
Straight up in the air.
Straight up in the air and burns the eaves. It catches the fire of the eaves and burns the house down. There's a lot of common sense things
Yeah.
that are occurring now that are
Wow.
making this to be able to get better.
That's the great thing about like Vegas. You have everything zero skate, so there's not a lot of vegetation. And
Yeah, that's
then,
like Arizona's the same
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Arizona's the same way.
And the Las Vegas fire code and fire department, I mean, they're more powerful than the governor there ever since
Yeah.
the MGM fire.
Yep.
It's insane what you go through. I mean, I remember we opened an office one time. It took us forever just to fucking get them to come by and do their job,
Yep.
because they had so many things they had to look at, and they basically put me in those fire suits and said you have to wear this when you're in the office. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, you guys are really scarred from that MGM thing, aren't you? It was the
Yeah.
'80s, people,
Yeah.
but and we were probably all drinking and smoking back then, so that probably didn't
Yeah.
help. But yeah, I'm looking at that 100-year-old wooden house, red. They called it the
Yeah.
red roof,
Yep.
and to see that thing
It's
survived. And I think I saw
it's
some.
it's an
I,
example of what
yeah.
needs to happen.
Yeah, I think I saw that also in Florida. There was homes that survived the hurricane
Yep.
because they'd either been rebuilt or remodeled to do it, and they're just
Yep.
like standing there looking pristine, and everything else is
Yeah. I mean,
wiped.
a lot of the ones on the southeast, when they get into hurricane areas, the first layer, the first level for flood
Mm-hmm.
is you don't have the houses are built so that everything's really second floor up. Like a garage is the first floor,
Mm-hmm.
and that the first floor or first area blows away. So that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't blow the house away. It'll blow away these like it's a releasable with wind.
Mm-hmm.
The structures they're doing now are just incredible. We continue to get better and better with our technology of how to survive fires and windstorms and things. We just have to make sure we implement
Yeah, and then we just go ahead and pollute more. Then they
them.
put more plastic in the
Well,
ozone.
you know what's funny? Actually, a lot of the ones I've seen on the southeast for the wind ones are not. They're doing a lot of biodegradable things, which is
Oh,
great
are
too.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I had my water purifier break down. The RO filters and stuff
Yeah.
all ran out at the same time. They do every
Oh,
December, and so it just kicked off. And I use purified water everywhere,
yeah.
and so I had to go buy some like water, like people do, where they buy the giant things of plastic water.
Yeah.
And I bought like this whole rack for $5, and it was like I don't know, like 40 bottles or something, and they're
Yeah.
like
Like
all
Costco has those
plastic
all
and
day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I never buy them because I think I don't know. I come from an age like you do, where it's like if you would have said in the '70s, '80s, hey, we're gonna come up with a way to make people pay for water, you would have laughed out of your
Oh,
ass
they'd
off.
have laughed you out of the room. I mean,
You're like,
if you
get
and
out.
I were an investment, like we're starting up
Yeah,
a company and we're
yeah.
going to bottle water, we would have had no investors.
They would
They
have
would have
put
laughed
us.
at us.
They would have put us in a home,
Yeah, exactly.
with a funny farm. So I bought this big rack of plastic, and I've seen people, loaded carts going
Hmm.
out with this purified water crap.
Yep.
Um, God knows how much it's leaching plastic into the
Oh,
water. And so
scary.
I sat there, I bought it, and it was like 586, I think, or something.
Hmm.
And I'm like, holy crap, this is not only incredibly cheap, but what is the cost of, I mean, how many seals is it going to end up in or something,
Yeah.
whatever, and landfills and stuff. And so I was just aghast at it. And thankfully my filters came in, so we're back on business. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm like, there's people that do this all the time. It's like, oh my God. Wow. So
It's
buy a
crazy.
$300
Filter.
filtering system, guys. I have
Yep.
one. It's 300. I think the 350 I paid for mine, and
Yep.
it does RO. It even has the UV light now.
Yep.
So it does the reverse osmosis. You got to have that. Is there any insurance you can get for me? Because I live in Vegas, and every summer it feels like I'm about to burst into fire. Is there any fire insurance I can get for my ass?
Yeah,
And
well, not for
Vegas?
yourself. Obviously, if your house, you
Damn
can
it.
always get them. Yeah, you bursting in flames, that could be a whole other conversation
Yeah,
for
that's a whole.
why and what the story is for that. But
Stop soaking the clothes in gas, please. Anyway, it's Vegas. You do that to keep the tourists away from you because they're so
exactly,
annoying
no
when you
one
go
wants to get near
downtown.
you at that point.
Yeah, yeah. He smells bad. That's why I only bathe every 2 weeks. Anyway, Robert, thank you very much. Give us your final pitch out. Tell people how they
Yes,
can onboard in the .com.
absolutely. Everyone out there is listening right now. Please realize, like we've mentioned, there's obviously options and choices. Things as bad as they are in the insurance community, we're getting better. I do think we're starting to turn the corners. If to really get it to be better, if you have any questions, we're always around. My name is Robert Feldman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wows Insurance. You can find us at wowsinsurance.com.
There you go.
Yep.
And remember, only you can stop firefighters. I'm talking to you, Bob, in the audience. Knock it off. Not Robert Bob, but we always use Bob as the callback. Everybody blames Bob for everything.
Everyone blames Bob.
It's
Where's
always
Bob?
Bob's fault.
It's What
It's always
About Bob,
Bob's
right?
fault.
There's a whole
It's
movie
always,
about What About
yeah,
Bob.
yeah. That might have been where I stole that callback from. Anyway, thanks, Robert, for coming on the show. It's been fun
Hey,
to have
thank
you as
you.
well. And
Look forward to future. Anytime you have any catastrophes or things going on, man, when it comes to the insurance world, let me know. I like to be your guy.
I'll call you for my next divorce.
There you go.
Thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it, Robert. Thanks for us for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss one and the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. I'm so sick of saying I'm just going to say it this way. Be good to each other. Stay safe or else I'll see you next time.